Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope that you people are well. Today we are going to discuss one of the most interesting chapters in your marketing course, one of my favorite chapters as well, and that is related to one of the P's of marketing. If you recall back, we discussed 4 P's of marketing. You remember the 4 P's of marketing? What were the 4 P's of marketing? We discussed 4 P's of marketing, and the first P was product. The second P is price. The third P is, in any order, promotion. And the last P is place. So our focus in this chapter would be on the third in any order in this P of marketing, and this P of marketing is called in broad sense integrated marketing communication. Integrated marketing communication in general is related to the P of marketing, which is promotion. Integrated marketing communication, the combination of 3 terms. You people already know what marketing is. Before I start the chapter, I'm going to tell you what integrated is and what communication is. Let's start with communication. In easy words, communication is the flow of information from one person to another person. What is communication? The flow of information from one person to another person. So when the information moves from one person to another person, we call it communication. Now, when the communication is from one person to another person without a response, we call it one-way communication. But most of the time you would like to have a response or a feedback, we call it. So that one, when there is information flow from one person to another person and then there is a reply back, we call it two-way communication. Now both of them have their own importances and both of them are used in the promotion chapter and in the promotion P of marketing. Now there are many tools of promotion or communication that marketers or companies use, and that is what the focus of this chapter is on. And when you use those tools in integration, what do you mean by integration? In coordination, in combination, you use them in a way that it complements one another, we call it integrated communication. And when that integrated communication is for the purpose of marketing, we call it integrated marketing communication. So in simple words, integrated marketing communication is the flow of information from one person, from one company, from one party, from one entity to another party, another entity, another person, in a way that it complements the other modes of communication of the company in an integrated way. We call it integrated marketing communication. It's a very important chapter. In fact, in a higher level of marketing, you will see an advanced level of marketing, in the major level of marketing, you will see that communication or promotion is even a subject. So it is a very detailed topic. It is a very detailed subject and it's a very important one as well. So pay attention and we will have a discussion over it, and then it is included in the exam as well. So first, understand why do we need to have marketing communication? What is the focus? What is the purpose? Why do we actually need to have this integrated marketing communication? What is the goal of integrated marketing communication? The first and the most important one, you recall back the definition of promotion that I gave you. What definition I gave you? The definition of promotion. Promotion is to let the people know about your product, to inform the people. You remember I told you to inform the people. Now the first one is the same. What is it? Creating awareness. Why do we need to communicate in marketing? Because you need to create awareness about your company, about your product, about your launches, about your whatever you are planning to inform the people about. So the first motive of communication for the purpose of marketing is to create awareness. Then once you create awareness, you need to portray, you need to build, you need to communicate to people the image of your product or services or your company in a positive way. So we call it building positive images. Why do we need to communicate for the purpose of marketing? Because we want to create awareness and because we want to create a positive image of our product or service or company. Because if there is a negative image of your product or service or company in the minds of customers, do you think that the customers will buy your product? The answer is no. So we have to create a good image of our product in the minds of the customers, a good image of the company in the minds of the customers, so that they come and buy our product. Now, once people have a positive image in the minds about your company or product, we call it, they become potential customers. And that is also one of the motive of marketing communication, that it helps you identify prospects. Now, the easy definition of prospects would be that you're searching for what? You're searching for potential customers. So what is it? Potential customers. So through marketing communication, you may be able to identify those people who may be interested to buy your product. How would you identify them? You would only be able to identify them once you communicate with them, once you aware them, once you create a positive image of your product and company in the minds of the customer. So you see that these two will help you find out prospects, and these two will also help you build a good relationship with the channel members. Now, channel members is related to another P of marketing, and that is called place. Yeah, place or distribution. If you recall back the definition of distribution that I gave you, what was distribution? Distribution is the movement of product from the place of production to the place of consumption. How does the product move? The product move from one person, from the producer to another, from one person, then from that person it moves to another one, and then ultimately to the customers. These people are commonly called wholesalers and retailers, and in marketing we call them channel members. How can you have good relationship with channel members? When you create awareness, when you try to build a positive image of your company. So these are some of the goals of marketing communication. Then further, you need to have good relationship with the channel members. You need to identify customers, potential customers, and you want them to become your customers. Now, when you want your customers to become your customers, you don't want them to be your customers only once. You want the customers to come back to your company again and again and again. We call it customer retention. What do we call it? We call it customer retention. I'll write it here. It is called customer retention. And I shared with you a video where I talked about customer satisfaction, customer retention, customer loyalty. I think in one of the first videos. I'm sure that you remember that, or if you don't, go back and check that. You will find out videos on customer satisfaction, customer retention, and customer loyalty, more or less related to that. How can you retain customers? When you communicate with them, you retain them. And I normally give an example of these big companies that we have. Go and switch on the TV, you will still see the advertisements of McDonald's. You will still see the advertisements or communication from companies like KFC, like Coca-Cola, like Pepsi. Don't we know these companies already? We know these companies a lot. Even those people who are not educated, those people who, even small kids, my son who I remember, who was like 2 to 3 years old, he would remember McDonald's and KFC and all these Disney and these companies. But why do we still see the advertisement of these companies every day? Because they want to retain us. Because if they stop communicating with us, we will forget about them. And when we forget them, we would be switching to another company. So customer retention is also one of the motive of marketing communication. Let's move further. If it goes, yep. So the definition of integrated marketing communication, it is also commonly called IMC, or it is called promotion mix. So IMC or promotion mix is the mix of different methods that you have in order to communicate with the customers. I'm repeating, what is promotion mix or integrated marketing communication? The mix of all the communication methods that you have in order to contact or communicate or interact with the customers. And how many methods do we have? We'll discuss at least 5 to 6 different methods of communication in the promotion chapter. So at least 5 promotion mixes are there, and those 5 promotion mixes are broadly divided into non-personal and personal. Do you know what is non-personal and personal? Anybody? Personal. The common example of personal would be one-on-one. Non-personal, one-to-many. So right now, my lecture is non-personal because I'm talking to all of you at the same time. When it will become personal? When I call one among the whole class and start communicating with that person personally. That's how you call it personal communication, right? So broadly speaking, 5 to 6 methods I'm going to discuss with you, and these 5 to 6 methods are divided into personal and non-personal. Now, as I told you, there are at least 5 to 6. The first one on top list is called advertising. Then it is followed by sales promotion in any order. Then we have public relations. Then we have direct marketing. And then we have personal selling. In some books we have one more, and that is again the 6th one. Or in some books it is written here as well. It is called direct or digital marketing. Direct or digital marketing. In some books it is written together, in some books it is written separately. Let's go back and check the first one. Advertising. What is advertising? Advertising, some of the key terms that you have to understand. Advertising is, or advertisement is, a paid non-personal method of communication that originate from an organization, about a product, and it uses mass medium in order to target audience. Now, there are many other definitions as well. My own definition would be advertising is a paid non-personal mode of communication from a company or from an identified sponsor. Concentrate. Advertising is a paid non-personal method of communication from an identified sponsor targeting mass customers or mass audience using mass media or medium. So I used few important words, few important terms I want to share with you. First, I said advertising is a paid non-personal method of communication, which is already there, from an identified sponsor. Identified sponsor targeting audience using mass media or mass medium. These are the key points that you should remember about advertising. What do you mean by paid? Now, we know that advertising is a very expensive method. According to an estimate, companies like Coke and Pepsi spend around 70 to 100 million US dollars every year on advertising. There are many methods, or there are many tools of advertising. We have television, we have radio, the traditional one. We have newspapers and magazine. We also have social media platforms as well that companies use to advertise their product. In all those methods where the company pay a certain amount of money to an agency, to a channel to market them, it is called advertising. It is non-personal. It means that it is not addressed to a single person. Rather, it is addressed to the large group of customers. The word mass means large. Okay, the word mass means large. Identified sponsor means that the person or the organization who is on airing the advertisement, the name of that organization must be highlighted in that advertisement. So that's why we sometimes see commercials, long commercial infomercials about awareness, but by the end of that infomercial we see that it says that this information or this awareness campaign or this message was brought to you by ABC company. So the ABC company means that the name of the sponsor who is paying for the advertising should be clearly highlighted, and it is using mass media, large, right? Large, targeting large group. Mass media, any media that can reach large group of customers. So what do you think, which media can reach large group of customers? The traditional ones: TV, radio, newspaper. But currently we have the digital media, as I told you, and digital media is also nowadays considered as a mass media because the reach of digital media is also amazing. We can see that with the help of internet, using Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, billions of people can be reached with a single click. So this was about advertising. The next method, this was the first one, right? In any order, by the way. The second one is called sales promotion. What is sales promotion? In simple word, the simple definition I can give you is sales promotion is the techniques, or those techniques that the company use in order to motivate, encourage, or induce. The word is here, induce sales. What is sales promotion? Different methods that the company uses in order to induce sales, in order to encourage sales, in order to push sales. And the common example of that would be buy one get one free, offering coupons, offering vouchers, discounts of 50%, 70%, 10%. These are all the sales promotion techniques. And we have sales promotion targeting channel members. We commonly call it trade promotion. We'll discuss that in a while. Or sales promotions targeting the consumers. We call it consumers promotions, or sales promotion in general. We'll discuss that in a while. Then we have public relations. Now, what do you mean by public relations? Public relation is somehow related to a method which is non-paid in most of the cases, and it is a method through which the organizations try to build good, strong, and long-term relationship with the public. I'm not talking about customers, I'm talking about public, those people who may not become your customers. So they have used the word customers, non-customers, stockholders, suppliers, employees, political bodies, and individuals. I normally give all of them one word and I call them stakeholders. Who are stakeholders? Stakeholders are the customers, non-customers, stockholders, employees, suppliers, and so on and so forth, who you want to have good relationship with. Why? Because you want them to create awareness, build positive image of your company, and find customers for you. They become your customers as well in many cases. So building relationship with the customers. In some books we have another one. There's a third one. In some books we have another one written near public relations, or sometimes use even synonymously in the public relations. We call it publicity. Publicity. Now publicity is just like advertising, but it is non-paid. Just like advertisement, but it is what? It is non-paid. And sometimes the sponsor may not be identified. So it's a non-paid method of communication, non-personal, targeting mass media. And most of the time when we say publicity, we are referring to it as in negative terms, but it can be in the positive terms as well. So public relations and publicity. And the common example of that would be news conferences, when the companies arrange news conferences in order to build relationship with the public, or in order to create awareness. Then we have the fourth one, which is called direct. And I also told you in some books we have direct and digital media. In some books it is also converted. The direct media is also converted into two. We call it, I'll write it here, we call it traditional. We call it traditional and contemporary. Contemporary. So we have traditional. In the traditional media we have direct mail, we have catalogs, we have telemarketing, and in the contemporary we have online and social media marketing as well. And these are also the methods of communication with the customers directly. Then we have number fifth as personal selling. Now personal selling in simple word means that a company's representative, a company's agent come and sell the product to you directly. So that's why in the book they have given name as a face-to-face communication, right? Face-to-face communication, where the buyers are informed and persuaded to buy the product of an organization. Now, if someone asks you a question that among the 5 promotion mix method, which one is the most expensive? Now, the first thing that comes in the mind is people think that advertising is the most expensive, because I just told you that around 70 to 100 million dollars are spent on advertising every year by companies. Well, the answer is not advertising. The answer is personal selling is the most expensive method of promotion mixing. The answer is this, but people who ask you this question, they may be asking you further that why is this the most expensive one? Why not advertising? Then their answer should be because of the reach. The technical term used is reach. Because advertising can reach millions of people in the split of seconds. But if you have to reach millions of people personally, just imagine how much resources are required. According to an estimate, normally by the personal selling is used for B2B most of the time, but it can be used for B2C as well. According to an estimate, personal selling from B2B, a single personal selling, we call it sales call, can be as expensive as $500. So just imagine you're spending $500 to convince and motivate and influence one customer or one client. What if you have to convince 1 million customers? And just you can do the math by yourself. So personal selling is the most expensive method of promotion mix. Okay. So firms should keep in mind some of the important things in the promotion mix. First, what is the role of the promotion in the overall marketing mix? By the way, what is marketing mix? Anybody? What is marketing mix? 4 P's, right? Marketing mix are 4 P's. Now, what is the role of your promotion mix in the 4 P's? How are they complementing one another? Then what is the nature of your product and what is the nature of your market? Based on these 3 things, there may be many as well, but according to your book, based on these 3, you decide on which promotion mix tool is suitable for you. In some situations, you may not be able to do advertising. I'll give you an example, my own example, that I use this method, nature of market, and I selected one of the methods of promotion mixes. And what was that? I'll give an example. I remember when I was in Afghanistan back in 2006, there were some places where we would hardly have electricity. So I used television advertising to market the university where I was working, but then there were some places where there is no TV. So what method did I use? I used personal selling. I personally visited those places and marketed the university to them. Based on what? Based on the nature of the market. So I selected personal selling over advertising because of the nature of the market. So you can see that how only one impacted my whole marketing strategy. Similar goes when you have different product, different pricing, and so on and so forth. Then when we talk about integrated marketing communication, already defined to you. When we talk about integrated, we are talking about coordination. So it coordinate and integrate all the elements of promotion mix in order to complement one another, in order to search for more customers. Okay, now being a buyer, being a potential customer, all of us, by the way, all of us go through a process. And I will tell you another model as well. The process is that first awareness is created. We become aware about a product, a company. Then we understand comprehension. We understand the message, we understand the product, we understand the company. Once we understand and we see a fit between the company, products, and our needs and wants, we are convicted, we are convinced, we are trapped by that communication. And once that stage is passed, we go and order the product. By the way, these are in proper sequence, right? These are in proper sequence. So the first one is awareness, then after awareness is comprehension, then after comprehension is conviction, and after conviction we have ordering. There is another very famous model. It is called AIDA model. IDA. Now, IDA is an interesting name because IDA is the name of a lot of females in Malaysia as well. But anyway, this is a very interesting model of consumer behavior, especially related to integrated marketing, communication, or promotion mix. What is IDA model? A stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. You can see is more or less related to this one. Again, attention, interest, desire, and action. So these are the situation where we, being a consumer, go through in order to understand, comprehend, or take action on a particular communication or promotion that comes from the company. Now let's go to advertising and check in advertising some of the very important topics when we talk about the decisions related to advertising. What are the things that being a marketing managers we have to keep in mind when we are taking decisions related to advertising? First, the budget, advertising budget, and then how to allocate that budget, like how much money should be allocated for what purposes. And these are the topics that we're going to discuss in a lot more detail now. Now there are around six roughly method used for the determining the advertising budget or expenditure. The first one is called the percentage of sales. What do you mean by percentage of sales? It's a simple method that how much money should we spend on advertising? The answer is use percentage of sales method. What is percentage of sales method? Percentage of sales method says that find out a fixed percentage of the present or the future sales and dedicate that amount for the advertising. For example, you can say that 10% of the sales should be devoted or spent on the advertising. This is very simple, right? Percentage of sales. But percentage of future sales and percentage of present sales, that's very important. Now past sales is very easy because the record is with you. So we are in 2020. We say that the sales of 2019, 5%, 10%, 15% of the sales of 2019 should be spent on the advertisement of 2020. That's called percentage of sales, past sales. Future sales, and some of you may have studied that in your finance as well. We have a method which is called forecasting, and we do forecasting, we do projections, future sales projections. So 2020 has not yet finished, but when 2020 starts, or before even 2020 starts, being marketing or sales and marketing department, we have to project how many items are we going to sell in 2020, how much sales we are expected to make in 2020, and based on that expected forecasted figure we take a percentage of that. So I say that in 2020 my sales would be $1 million, so we say that 5% of the $1 million of 2020 should be spent on the advertisement of 2020. That is a little risky method, but that's one of the methods as well. Then we have per unit expenditure, similar to that, but here you're not using the percentage, rather you're using a unit. For example, 5 ringgits. 5 ringgits will be spent on each unit that I sell. It's very simple. So if I sell 5 items, I'm going to spend how much? 5 multiply 5. 25 ringgit should be spent on advertising. That's as simple as it sounds. So per unit expenditure. So whatever you are spending, find out a fixed unit that you are going to spend on advertising. Yeah. Then a very interesting method, and this is the method that I also used, is all you can afford. The budget is determined based on how much money you have. So you, based on how much confident you are, how much experienced you are as a marketing manager, you decide on the budget of advertising. And normally this is considered the riskiest method, where you go to the boss, where you go to the CEOs, where you go to the board of directors, and you tell them, hey, I need whatever you have to spend on the marketing. And some of them may agree, some of them may not agree, and then you need to have your justification. So it means that you spend a lot of money on advertising, all you can afford, based on the resources that you have. So you spend more, you get reward more as well. The next method, the fourth method, if I'm not wrong, right? The fourth method would be competitive parity. What is competitive parity? Spend as much as your competitors are spending. So if your competitors are using TV, you also use TV. If your competitors are using radio, you also use radio. And based on the expenditure of competitors, you spend money accordingly as well. Good method if you don't want to do a lot of paperwork. If you want to do a lot of research by yourself, look at your competitor. If you have an equal level of competitor, spend the same amount of money that he or she is spending. Then research approach is also a very interesting approach. Research approach is that based on the research findings you decide on the budget. So research finding is that you go to the market and you first find out why do you need advertising? What is it that your advertising will do? Will it create awareness, or will it influence people to buy your product? And based on what the research findings tell you, then you go and you decide on the budget of the advertising. And the last one is task, objective and task approach. In some book it is also called task and objective approach. The task and objective approach is an approach where you first find out the goals of advertising. Why do you want advertising? What is the reason behind the complete advertisement that you want to do, the goals, the objective of the advertisement, and then you decide on the budget of that. And there are normally the following are some of the objectives which is not in your book of the advertisement. I'll write it here. The first objective of the advertisement is information, as I told you. Information. The second objective of the advertisement is persuasion. I don't have enough space there. Persuasion. And the third objective of advertisement is reminder. So information, persuasion, and reminder. What do you want to achieve from your advertisement? Do you want to inform people? The budget is different. You want to persuade people? The budget is different. You want to remind people? The budget is different. So these are some of the methods of determining the expenditure for the advertising. Now when we talk about the allocation, that how much should be allocated, I already told you, but the things that you have to keep in mind is that whatever you plan and how much you plan to spend for whatever purpose, I told you the purpose as well, information, persuasion, and reminder, you have to keep in mind that you have to say the right things at the right time using the right media. So if you say the right thing at the right time, to the right people, using the right media, your complete advertisement campaign or generally promotion campaign can be successful. If you say the right things at the wrong time, things will not work. If you say the wrong things at the right time, it will also not work. If you say the right thing at the right time using the wrong media, it will also not work. If you say the right thing at the right time using the right media to the wrong people, it will also not work. So everything should be done properly. And how would you find out? You'll find out all this through marketing research. So you do a lot of marketing research to find out the right things said in the advertisement using the right media to the right people in the right amount. Just imagine. So all these right things should be found out through extensive marketing research. Once the marketing research gives you green signal, then go ahead with your promotion method. Now I told you that when we say communication, in communication, some of the things that you have to keep in mind is the flow of information from one person to another person. You remember that? Flow of information from one person to another person. This flow of information is technically called information, or it is also called message. Yeah, this one is called feedback, as I told you. It is also called response. This is called sender. This is called receiver. What else is there? These are the components of communication, by the way, right? It's very important for effectiveness of the communication. So you need to have a sender, you need to have a receiver, you need to have a message or information, and the response. There are two more things that you have to keep in mind. It can be either here or here, both of them. One is called, where should I write? One is called noise. It is also sometimes called barrier. It is also called distraction, which damages the effectiveness of your communication. And another one is here, this number one. There's another one is called medium. Medium or media. Media or medium is something that takes the message from the receiver and send it to the take the message from the sender and give it to the receiver and back as well. So we have how many components of communication? We have sender, receiver, we have info or message, we have feedback, we have noise and barriers, and we have medium or media. Understand that, right? These are related to the message strategy. Message should be good. Message should motivate the people in order to make sure that it delivers as it is intended. And all these things I already told you: the sender or the source, the communication or the message, the receiver or the audience. Let's move further. These are the basics. Okay, now the sender is also called an encoder. And the receiver is also called a decoder or receiver. Understand these as well. The same thing, a message is sent to the sender, and it is the encoding or decoding, in simple word, means that the message is sent in a language, in a text that the receiver understand. Only then it can be decoded. Otherwise, if it is sent in a language, it cannot be. In broad terms, this is something that I teach in business communication or communication in general, presentation skills. It's a very detailed topic, and I don't think we have enough time to discuss that here, but something that you can read it by yourself is, we call it semantics in the semantic in the language. Yeah, so Google about semantics and you will find out things like language. You'll find out the cultural issues and so on, particularly the language. So if there is a difference in the language, you will see that the encoding and decoding may not be that much effective. So in the advertisement is very much important. You see an advertisement of a company on the TV that speaks in a language that you don't understand, the chances are that it will influence you less, and that's why it is very important to understand. And the media, we already talked about it. We have discussed a number of mixes in the marketing, if you remember, starting with the marketing mix. Yeah, marketing mix were the 4 P's of marketing, and we also discussed the promotion mix a while ago. Yeah, so we have another mix as well, and that is called media mix. Don't forget that we have another mix as well later on coming in the next chapters, product mix in the product chapter. So we have these mixes, and these mixes have something. It means that there are many methods through which we can mix and coordinate the method. Like in marketing mix, the 4 P's of marketing. In promotion mix, the methods of promotion. In media mix, you have different media, different tools for the promotion. Media is also called in many books tools or channels. It is also called medium, by the way. These are different names in different books used for it. So the tools, channels, mediums, or media, there are many available for the purpose of communication, promotion, starting from TV, radio, newspaper, social media, catalogs, telephone, and so on and so forth, which we are going to discuss in a while. But the things that you have to keep in mind in the media before we go to the media mix. So first, what is media mix? The mix of different media or tools or channels that you have for the purpose of promotion or communication. We have something which is called cost per thousand. It is also commonly called CPM. What is cost per thousand? Why it is called CPM? Cost. CPM. This is T. Why it is called CPM? What do you think? I'm going to ask you this question in the live session. Please Google it and let me know. You should know that, right? CPM. It's very interesting, by the way. So what is CPM, or cost per thousand? It should be called CPT, right? But it's not CPT. The correct word is CPM, and it is also called cost per thousand. It means that how effectively and efficiently your advertising is reaching 1,000 people at the dollar of certain at the cost of certain dollars. CPM means how the media that you choose, how much money you're spending on it to reach at least 1,000 people. Reach, remember I told you a while ago as well in the previous a couple of minutes ago, reach is how many people do your message reach, or how many people are exposed to your message or advertising. That is called reach technically. Now when we talk about media mix, we talked about CPM, we talked about reach, we talk about frequency, the number of times the customers are exposed to it. So it's not only exposing the customer to your message, to your communication once. They are exposed many times. That's why the TV channels, the radios, they will charge you for every time it is on air, your commercial or your marketing communication is on air, because every time it is on air, it has a different reach, it has a different frequency and reach. It's very important to understand. One of the things that you have to keep in mind is that being a marketing manager, the issue is that whatever media you choose, whatever tool or channel you choose, you make sure that sufficient number of targeted customers are exposed to it, and the targeted customers not only exposed to it, they are exposed to it in a way that they are attracted to your company. So it's the number of times they're exposed to your communication, and they are exposed in a large quantity as well. So the number of customers exposed, because it have to generate certain ROI, and the number of times they are exposed is also very important. Okay, now before we go there, we in your book, let me show you the page number. Now when we talk about media, there are so many different type of media for advertising available to us. We have newspapers, radios, outdoors, internet, direct mail, magazines, and so on. That is on your in your book, page 129. I will share with you the what do you call, I'll share with you the PDF or in the form of a scanned document in as well. I want you to think of the assignment is that I want you to think of the innovative non-traditional media. Well, you have a certain non-traditional media again in your book as well. For example, you have kiosks, you have in-flight ads, you have newspaper bags, you have inflatables, you have blimps, and so on and so forth. But I want you to think of your own amazing, innovative, non-traditional method of promoting your company or product. Any product or any company, just think of a media and explain to you. I'll create a form and I want you to talk about it and think about it in a week, right? Let's go to sales promotion. I told you sales promotion is what? Promoting your sales. Coming up with a method through which you can induce your sales, through which you can encourage people to buy your product. Two methods are there, push strategy and pull strategy. Push strategy is when the company push the product to the channel members and the channel members push the product further to the customers. Pull strategy is that the company directly market the product to the customers, and the customers ask the channel members, and the channel members pull the product from the company and transfer it to the customers. Diagrammatically, it looks something like that. The producer market to the channel members market to the customers. But here you see that the producer directly marketed to the customers, and now the customers are asking the channel members, and the channel members are asking the producers to get the product. This is what we call push and pull strategy. You have to decide which one is suitable for your product, your company. And remember in the beginning I told you about sales promotion. You have trade promotions as well, where the channel members are targeted in order to motivate them to sell more product. in order to motivate them to shelf the product in a better location, in order to motivate the sales people, the channel members, to convince customers at the point of sales and the point of purchase in order to sell your product. Then we have promotion directed towards, generally this is the trade promotions still there, things like for example asking the retailers, I told you, to give a more favorable shelf place, making sure that they sell your product. Then we have normal consumer promotions as well. In consumer promotions, they're normally targeting the general potential customers, where they are asked to try the product, where they're asked to buy the product in the form of buy one get one free, 100% discount, 10% discount, 20% discount, and they are asking for loyalties as well. So you motivate the customers to buy your product, whatever method you use. One of the things that you have to keep in mind in the sales promotion is that sales promotion is a method which should be used very carefully, and it should be used non-frequently. So sales promotion, either targeting the consumers or the channel members, it should be used infrequently. Why should be used frequently? Because if you're using the sales promotion, for example, 60% discount, come and we have 60% discount. If you use 60% discount or 70% discount or 10% discount every day, then it loses its beauty. Then the customer would not feel motivated to buy the product, because they know that it is everyday promotion. So in a single day when there is no promotion, the chances are that the customers are not going to buy your product, because they know that every day there's a promotion. They will wait for the promotion day and they will buy then. So use it carefully. The things that you have to keep in mind is that, as I mentioned to you, that it should not be used as the only promotional tool, and it should not be used very frequently. Make sure that it is used in a way that it ensures long-term commitment of the buyer to the brand. It is used in a way to motivate companies in terms of selling their products to the customers, motivate customers to buy the company's products in order to encourage the sales. People normally use sales promotion. These are some of the things that you can read as well. People use sales promotion in order to convince buyers to purchase unacceptable products, make up for the lack of advertising or support, sales support for the products as well. Well, this is doesn't look very ethical, but companies are using it as well. And in order to cut back on the sales promotion without losing market share to competitors, consumer product companies have to keep in mind that you have an everyday low strategies, and the companies have started something which is called frequency programs. Frequency programs. It is also in some books called loyalty programs. Loyalty programs. What are loyalty programs? These are the programs where the customers get reward for every time they buy from you, and there are tiers, and there are so many things which are not the scope of this course, but loyalty programs are used in order to make sure that the customer come and buy from you again and again. Some of the methods of consumer promotions are sampling, price deals, bonuses, rebates, sweepstakes, and contest premiums and coupons. These are the common methods that we have in order to encourage sales. Public relations, building relationship with the customers. As I told you, publicity is one of the methods as well. How do we do that? We do that in the form of news releases, sending the news to the news reporters in the form of new launches are there coming, new products are coming, new features are coming, new updates are coming. So inform the people and the customers to build relationship with them, keep them connected to you. We do news conferences as well. Keynote speeches, good example of that would be keynote speeches, where a new product is launching. Companies normally ask all the media to come in a central location, where they try to demonstrate the new product in front of them, and then they launch it later on in a week or a month. some of the other methods of public relations are sponsorship of events. For example, a concert is sponsored, in a marathon is sponsored, some campaigns are sponsored, some messages for the publics are sponsored. These are all the tools of public relations. Now, marketing directly to the customers using traditional or contemporary method. The traditional methods are, as I mentioned to you, using postal mails or snail mails, using telephone catalogs. The contemporary method of direct marketing would be on emails, social media, and direct chat bots, for instance. Why this method is used? Because it is more personalized. Customers feel more important. It is less expensive. It is less expensive, compared to other methods that we just discussed. For example, advertising, you spend millions of dollars, but you can reach a good number of audience, a good number of customers, a good number of public using traditional or contemporary method of direct marketing. For example, you are shooting up an email to 100,000 people. It will not cost that much compared to when you are reaching 100,000 people using radio, newspaper, or television. So it's a better method. So it improves your sales revenue. It's an effective method in generating sales leads. Sales leads means potential customers. It increases your store traffic as well. So this was about the direct marketing. We discussed two, as I told you, the traditional, and we have the contemporary. Contemporary, the social media, for instance, or emails, and traditional are the catalogs, the postal mails, etc. With that, we come to the end of our chapter on promotion mix or integrated marketing communication. I hope that you enjoyed the chapter. If there is any question, anything, we'll discuss that inshallah in the live session. See you in the live session. Take care. Bye.